And whoa, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Hold on, where am I? Technical problem here. Hold on. Where's my technical problem? Hold on. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, welcome to the first edition of the not oh my God, the Sunday Audible live from Sunday Audible Studios in beautiful Road, New Jersey. Guys, welcome to Sunday morning, and I'm waiting for my two co-hosts for our very first Sunday morning Audible show, where we will break down the NFL's biggest topics. We'll run through each game. As I wait for John and Jeff to pop up, I'll do my little monologue here. And guys, welcome to Sunday morning, week one of the NFL season. You can't do better than the start of the NFL season. Although his week one started on Thursday with a big loss by the Cowboys to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We had a good football game. And if you're a Cowboy fan, I think you can be a little encouraged by what you saw. Again, too many mistakes, left a little bit of time on the clock. I don't want to hear about a penalty at the end. First of all, I didn't think that was a push-off. And second part of that is I definitely didn't think, hey, Johnny Collins. And yes, I didn't think that was a penalty. And there was a few phantom calls early. So, listen, NFL season kicks off for everybody today on this special weekend. I just want to do a little bit of, again, I'm just getting over being sick. I had my second shot, unfortunately, and didn't think I was going to get on today. But just a special shout out to those who perished 20 years ago. Some really nice ceremonies yesterday. I didn't get to watch a lot. I was sick all day. I did see our former president out in Manhattan yesterday with the firefighters and PD, which I thought was great. But shout out to those who died 20 years ago and those who gave their lives trying to save others. I thought yesterday was a great day commemorating. I watched a lot of college football. What's up, Finelli? I watched a lot of college football in between falling asleep all day. And it was amazing. The Nebraska game, one of their defensive linemen, a 29-year-old former Navy SEAL, ran out on the field with the flag. The Ohio State game, I mean, there was such unity. You just wonder, why can't we be like this every day? Why do we have to wait for 9/12, 9/11 to show that kind of spirit on a regular basis? And I think we all should have learned a lesson from 20 years ago. And if we don't, the reminder of yesterday should be something we carry with us every day to not only love each other, but love this country. And I hope we all catch that message. But anyway, guys, it's the NFL season. Lots of big stories coming up. Everybody starts 0-0. Everybody's got the chance. Who are the surprises? I don't know. Who's going to be the team that flops? I don't know, but we're going to find out over the course of 17 weeks. Well, actually 18 weeks, 17 games. Lots of big stories in the NFL this year. The return of fans to the games. Return the COVID rules. Obviously, our dunce in chief mandating that and basically forcing everybody to get vaccines. I think COVID will be a big issue. Forfeit rules. Lots of that. Return of fans. 17-game season. How do teams manage themselves? Nobody played in the preseason. Nobody. 3 games. Very little of the stars played. I will tell you that I didn't notice a big difference in the Cowboy Buccaneer game. I thought the teams played very well. I didn't think it was sloppy football. I thought it was entertaining. I'm glad the Cowboys lost because I hate them. But it was very entertaining. I see my two co-hosts have finally popped up. So I'm going to get them right on to the Sunday Audible show. First up is my good friend, the top dog over at RFL Records, and one of my dearest friends, Mr. John Mccaffrey. What's up, Johnny boy? Johnny's frozen. Johnny boy. John's frozen on the screen. And let's add St. Jeff. There he is. I can't see him, Jeff. I can only see you. Actually, it's better this way. Let's see your eyes.
I'm a little incognito today.
Gotcha. I like it better this way. I have to be honest with you.
It may have to be this way. If I happen to disappear, that means I'm in the middle of doing something.
I understood completely.
I'm actually in the middle of doing something right now.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Jeff, you want to come back?
Show up.
So I'm just waiting for John to catch it. But Jeff, it's the start of the NFL season. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody's got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. It's an exciting day. Are you looking forward to Sunday football?
Yes. The only thing I could say is already the Giants have started winless. So I just want that to be known.
There he is now. Now we got Johnny Boy in.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. What's up, John?
What's up, man?
John, welcome back from your vacation. I hope you and your wife had a good time.
It was fantastic, guys. I mean, what's really cool was coming back, to this NFL opening Sunday. I mean, it's like another vacation for me today. I'm sure it is for you guys too.
I gotta tell you, I was very close to not being able to do it today. I was sick. I still am. I still don't feel like myself, but it's NFL day and we got to do a show and we got to push ourselves. So I'm out here looking forward to it, guys. I'll ask you both real quick. Yeah, Jeff.
Are you what are you COVID related?
It's from the shot. I got the shot. I got my second shot on Friday, and I woke up Saturday morning a little under the weather. And as the day progressed, it got worse and worse. And I still don't feel right. I still don't feel like myself. But
probably not going to feel right till sometime in the end of December, beginning of January, when the Giants season is over.
John,
I happen to think you have giant fever.
Or the end of today, maybe.
That's true. It's true. Well, we're looking forward to it. I'll ask you guys, John. There's a bunch of big stories out there. Obviously, there's the Saints are playing on an alternate site. We have lots of new quarterbacks running around the league. Some changed addresses. Some starting for the first time. We got the return of the fans. We've got COVID rules. 17-game season. John, what's the big story going into today?
I'll tell you what my big story is, Tommy, and it's Matt Stafford with the LA Rams. I'm really curious to see how he's going to do, and I believe he's a huge step up from Jared Goff. I think that finally he has a team around him with a defense that can actually keep him in games. I mean, he doesn't need to score 1 million points. And I'm curious to see how he's going to play. I think he's going to do very well there, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
That's a good one. I'm not the biggest Matthew Stafford fan, but Jeff, what's your big thought going into the start of the NFL season today?
I want to see how these rookie quarterbacks are going to kick off. Who's a real deal and who's not. I'd also want to see what Jameis Winston does in New Orleans. So to me, I want to see how a lot of these new quarterbacks that have either changed teams, taken over a starting role, or the rookies. I want to see. It's all about quarterbacks for me.
I got you. And just so we're supposed to be on the Sports Wire radio network today, but unfortunately, I could not figure out how to log on. I tried this morning. I know I'm a little under the weather, so maybe my brain's not working real well. So right now we're just on the StreamYard. We'll do it this way for today. Hopefully, I'll get us back on and up next week onto Sports Wire. But for now, John, we got a lot of big games today. I want to go through a couple of big stories. I think social justice last year was a big thing for fans. I think the NFL lost a lot of fans because of the push of social justice. Seems to be still the same push this year. Do you think, John, that that's a big issue going into today for a lot of people, for yourself?
I think it kind of eased up a little bit, Tommy. I mean, for me, I think, like you opened up the show with is 9/11 and how we need to unite as a country, and that really brought us together. And I think we kind of pulled apart. And I'm hoping that, that we start to see, especially with COVID. I mean, we definitely need to pull together with this, and with the NFL season starting. And I really hope that everybody comes together and unites the way we should. I mean, everybody's, this is one society. This is one country. Everybody needs to look at it that way. And for me, I hope the NFL, kind of brings it back. I hope we don't have the craziness that we had at least the last few years. And, I just hope that happens this year. I really do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Guys, let's get to some NFL stuff. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We don't have all day, so I want to get to a bunch of what I consider the biggest games of the day. Now, there obviously is a full slate of games. But to me, there's 4 big games for me. Obviously, you guys can add to this list or tell me you don't think so. Pats Dolphins, to me, is a big game. One, it's a division game. Mac Jones' debut, the return of maybe the return of the Pats, and of course the Dolphins, who had a good season last year, making another step and trying to find out what two is. I think this is a big game. John, Jeff, what do you think?
Go ahead, John.
I agree, Tommy. I mean, I think with Tua coming in, last year he showed some signs. I think they built a decent team around him. I'm curious to see how he's going to do, today. But Jones is another thing. I mean, with New England, I think new quarterback. I mean, that's an enigma to me right there.
I agree, Jeff. What's your thought? Is that a big game for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, no, but overall, yeah, because it's an AFC East game. It's important for one of these teams, both of these teams, to play well, to establish their role in the pecking order of the division, so to speak. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought somebody was here. It's and also both of them have quarterback questions. Mm-hmm. Is Tua the real deal? Is Mac Jones going to be able to play? So these teams need to come out hot and show what they got, so that they're not going to be the doormats of the AFC East for the whole year.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's a big game. I touched on it earlier. I was very not concerned. Curious is the word. Most teams did not play their stars, did not play a lot of their starters in the preseason, and I was curious on the level of play to start the season. Now, watching game one with the Cowboys and the Bucks, I don't know how you guys felt. I watched 3/4 of that game live, and I didn't think it was bad. I don't think it was sloppy football. I thought it was pretty good football. It was a good football game, and of course, I'm glad the Cowboys lost. But are you guys curious about what to expect out of the games today? Will there be a lot of penalties, a lot of sloppy play, because there was teams didn't play in the preseason?
I don't know if it's going to translate to sloppy play and penalties, Tom. Don't forget. You bring up the game Thursday night. It was a pretty high-scoring game.
Yes.
For two teams that, most of their guys didn't play, which leads you to believe that whose defense is doing what, because neither defense did anything. So the offense was fine, but the defenses were lagging behind.
Yeah.
It's the first game of the season. So without them having any kind of a preseason, really, where they played, everybody's going to be a little rusty, a little sloppy. I don't think you're going to see anybody that really comes out on point and plays a complete game, defense, offense, and special teams. So I think it's still going to be a couple weeks away before the teams are really on their game.
Johnny Boy?
I agree, Jeff. I think the one thing to look at definitely in week one and into week two are the injuries, the soft tissue injuries, and you see a lot of hamstring injuries. And, just to see who stays healthy. I mean, because this could make or break a season. I mean, week one, we've seen some crazy things happen, we do every year. So I think the teams – I think you'll see good play. I think you'll see sloppy play. But I think, the injuries are always the main concern.
I agree, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it seems to be more and more each year with these soft tissue injuries. So it's in all sports, but especially in football. My second big game of the day is not a big game divisionally or conference-wise, but just big because it's Jets-Panthers, and I think that's first off, you get the first game for new coach Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson for the Jets facing their old
Saint Zach. Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. With facing their old friend Sam Darnold. Lots of stuff in the paper this week about guys on the Jet defense saying now they get the chance to hit him, and but Robbie Anderson's over there. Robbie Anderson's kind of turned his career around, going to the Panthers. I think this is a big game, maybe just locally, maybe just for me, but I think this is an interesting and a fun game. I'll be watching today. John, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a great game, really. I mean, Sam Darnold now he has a great running back in McCaffrey, which is he has a great check down guy and a great all around guy. But I think Robbie Anderson, I had him in my fantasy league last year because I really like Robbie Anderson. I saw a lot from him, when he was with the Jets, and to see him with the Panthers now, I mean, the guy gets a ton of separation, makes a lot of great plays, and he's definitely a game changer. So I'm curious to see how Darnold's going to do with him. on the Jets side, I think that's a Jeff question right there.
Well, very easy. This is what I'm expecting from Sam Darnold: confusion. All right, he's going to get confused. He's going to forget he's a Panther. He's going to throw the ball to the Jets. That's one thing. Second of all, Robert Saleh is going to execute a game plan, and he's going to get this team on track. Third, Zach Wilson. He needs to get out there. He needs to start off quick. I do not want to see Zach Wilson go 17 of 27 for 178 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. I want to see them take the leash off of him. It's the first game of the season. Let this kid sling the ball around. Okay? The Jets have no cornerbacks. If Sam Darnold recognizes this, he could shred them up for a couple hundred yards right there, right off the bat. And without even trying, he's going to be able to have a good game. But he has to, the Jets, they have to combat that. They got to figure out what they're going to do. Their pass rush may be suspect because Lawson is injured. They just released their most tenured cornerback in Bless Austin last week or the week before, whatever it was. So this could be a defense that's in trouble, this Jets team. And I think that they'll have a good game as long as they dictate the terms and they let Wilson play. Just let this kid play, man. That's all I could say is please don't do what they've done with the last couple quarterbacks and let them just throw little bullshit passes and everything else. Let him go out there. If he makes a mistake, correct it. And I think that's the kind of coach that Saleh is going to be. He's going to be able to compensate and be able to correct mistakes and change the game plan where needed. That's what I'm expecting.
Hold on.
I agree with you on that, Jeff.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, I think you hit it right on, mostly right on the head there. I think the question for me in this game is just, who makes the less mistakes? But it's an interesting matchup. We'll get more to it later during the breakdown of the games. Another big game for me today, Steelers-Bills. This could be theoretically a playoff matchup down the line. John, I know this is a big one for you. Steelers-Bills conference game. I think this is one of the 4 big games of the day, John.
I totally agree, Tommy. And we talked earlier, a few weeks ago, and much as I love the Steelers and I'm a diehard and everything, Buffalo was my, pick for the AFC this year to win the AFC. And
me too.
I think on Pittsburgh's side, I think really what we're going to see is what is this team? The offensive line needs to gel. I think this is a mega test for those guys. I think, I think the addition of Najee Harris is fantastic. To have Ben as a, they need to be able to run the ball. That's just plain and simple. It's one of the main things they need to, to open up the passing game, and they need to protect him as well. If you want to do the things that they like to do, which is stretch the field, you got to protect him.
Oh, absolutely. Good morning, guys, and everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Audible, our very first NFL breakdown show. It's the pregame show before the pregame shows. So we hope you guys will tune back every Sunday morning. You'll catch John, myself, and Jeff doing the breakdown of all the games. I got a little bit of a fantasy lineup for you for the day, and we'll do our best bets and just get kind of general topics of the day. So I'm glad you guys are with us today, and then I hope you come back every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Hopefully, I'll figure it out and get us on the Sports Wire Network next week. Again, my apologies to Tom and everybody over at Sports Wire. I just couldn't figure it out for the life of me. It was a little too confusing for me on a Sunday morning. Again, now Jeff, Steelers-Bills, Jeff, big game for you?
Well, no, because I'm not a fan of either team. But I understand John's point. What he said. The little I heard, I had to get up and do something. But John, I got a couple questions for you regarding this. And put you on the hot seat for a moment here. One, is Roethlisberger going to make it through the season? 2, if he doesn't make it through the season, who picks up the slack as the Steeler quarterback? And 3, is this the last hurrah for this team before a total rebuild?
Well, that's great questions there, Jeff. I talked to Tommy about this, during the draft, and I thought that the rebuild was going to happen right then. I really thought that was something that they should have taken on then. But then I also looked at, where are they at? Where is this going to be their last hurrah? So that's why they signed Ben. But they also needed to do some of the things that they did in the draft, and I think they changed a little bit. for the kind of team that they're going to be. I think you're going to see a lot of checkdowns today. I think you're going to see a lot of underneath work. I mean, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to run the ball. We'll see how they do there.
You got that new toy in the backfield, man. I hope it works for you.
That's exactly it. And one of the things, to point out too was, these new running backs is the blocking schemes as well.
Mm.
How well are these guys going to be able to pick up the blitzes? How well are they going to be able to protect Ben?
It's absolutely. And I think that goes to everybody in the league right now because you didn't have a real preseason. These guys didn't play. These guys didn't go out there and make a mistake in game 2 of the preseason and fix it. So everything's getting fixed now. You can do what you want in a live practice. It ain't the same as adjusting to somebody else in the game. So, I think that's a couple of big things for me. That's some of the big things.
A practice is scripted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you know what's going to happen. Or they're teaching you the ins and outs. But yeah, you're right, Tom. That you could be taught the ins and outs, but you need the instinct to react to the ins and outs. And you're only going to get that by playing games, whether it's preseason or regular season.
I think it's the same thing for coaching. I think, a lot of these guys did not get the chance to really coach a game yet. Like Robert Saleh, how's he going to be? I don't know. But it would have been nice to see him with the starters for a half or two in the preseason and see how he coached and made adjustments. But again, I think that's the negative. But the positive is, you know what? Maybe these guys avoided a few injuries and we'll get some good football based on what I saw Thursday night. The next big game I had, guys, is Chiefs-Browns. I think this is a huge game. Everybody's picking the Browns this year. That seems to be the fantasy pick of the year. Everybody thinks the Browns have made that next jump, John. And I'll tell you, I'm reluctant to believe the Chiefs are going to make a third straight appearance in the Super Bowl. I think it's extremely tough to do. And again, the teams that lose the Super Bowl, going back at least 7 or 8 years, have not done well the next season. I expect the Chiefs to play well this year. I just don't expect them to make it back to the Super Bowl.
I agree, Tommy. I think Cleveland definitely made the next step. It's a solid team, and you saw how well they did in the playoffs last year. They have everything that it takes to offset what the Chiefs like to do, and I think you'll see that today. I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm curious to see how the Chiefs' offensive line is going to hold up. I mean, they were so far, exploited in the Super Bowl, and you started to see some leaks, in the playoff games leading up to the Super Bowl, and I think I'm curious to see how that's going to work out today for those guys.
I agree, Jeff. What's your thoughts on Chiefs-Browns?
The Chiefs-Browns may very well be the AFC championship game. A lot of people, you're right, a lot of people have picked the Browns to go to the Super Bowl. I've seen it in several different spots. John, you're right. The Kansas City Chiefs did revamp their offensive line, so let's see if they gel. You have a monster Browns defensive line with Garrett. Clowney's not playing, if I'm correct, right?
I'll check the injury report. I have it here. Browns Chiefs. I don't see my. Oh, here it is. Okay. Cleveland out is done. Feels Beckham is playing. Clowney, I got him. They have him listed as limited. They don't say whether it's he's playing or not. It's just limited.
All right. Well, listen, limited or not, you got to think that with Garrett and Clowney on the same team, they're each going to draw attention. Nobody's going to know which way to go. Probably going to show more attention to Garrett, knowing that Clowney is possibly injured. But this could be a big game.
Yeah.
In the trenches is where this game is going to be won, I feel.
Well,
like that Browns defensive line versus the Chiefs offensive line. Big happenings right there, man.
Especially the Chiefs last year. I mean, their big downfall was their offensive line. We know that cost them in the Super Bowl, amongst other things. And Jeff, I think you hit it on the head. I think that's a big matchup today to see how they and listen, this could come down to a tiebreaker for the playoffs. I mean, this could be the tiebreaker, and head to head. So
and you got to think one other thing too that you got to keep a very close eye out in this game. Former Giant, Mr. Beckham, may have a great game today, and I would love nothing more than to see a former Giant have a great game today.
Listen, that guy is spiraled down. Don't worry about Odell Beckham. He's
I'm not. I know the guy's capable of
Yeah.
playing and
he's
resurrecting
capable.
his career.
Yeah. It's too late. Too late. But listen, guys, this is the Sunday Audible. We'll be here every Sunday morning, 9 o'clock for our pregame show. Before you tune into the other pregame shows, tune into ours. We're going to break down the big games, and we'll run through the entire league, fantasy lineups, best bets, and anything else that pops into our brain. Again, guys, last night, big loss by Ohio State to Oregon. I watched that game in between falling asleep, but that was a great football game, and college football's turned upside down this year. Clemson's lost. Ohio State's lost. Georgia again with a big win yesterday. Alabama another win. So guys, this is going to be
Changing of the guards, man. Changing of the guards.
I was talking about it in the other show.
Could happen real fast.
Yeah, how how do you change it up? And God, I tell you what, it seems like things are just taking care of themselves, and teams are just playing better football. But again, Ohio State losing yesterday kind of throws everything up. But if you're going to lose in college football, lose early. If you're going to lose early.
Here's the thing, too.
That's it.
Last year at this time, we had already heard names, okay, as far as who would be on the lookout, who could be the possible number one pick, and this, that, and the other thing. Who are you looking at this year? I know you got that defensive lineman from, I can't even pronounce his name, French-sounding name from Oregon.
Okay.
What's it, Thibodeau or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be the big name. But after that, is there a drop-off? Who's going to be this year's big quarterback coming out of college? Any idea?
I don't know. Sam Howell's been a name thrown around in North Carolina. I watched his first game last week. He did not play extremely well. I don't know. C.J. Stroud's supposed to be the next big Ohio State quarterback. He just has not played great. This team lost yesterday. Again, you're right, Jeff. So far, you haven't had that run of names, John, in college football that you're used to watching for next year. So far, the biggest thing in college football this year has been upsets.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. So, John, Jeff, John, did I miss a big game? Do you guys? That's my 4 big games. Do you guys have, John? You have anything else you would classify as a big game that we haven't touched on so far?
I think that Saints and Packers is a big game.
What makes it a big game? Is it because it's a conference game? What's the draw to that game for you?
I think I'm more curious to see how Jameis Winston is going to do with that team. I mean, taking over for Drew Brees. I mean, usually if you look at that Brees against Rodgers, that's a huge game. But now you add Jameis Winston to the mix, and I'm curious to see how he will play. I mean, the guy has shown some spots that that he could be a great quarterback, and then he showed some spots where he's been a rookie for 5 years. With all the interceptions and bad decisions. So I'm curious to see how he's going to play under Sean Payton and that team against a great Packer team.
Yeah, I think it's a big game. Jeff, do you have a matchup out there that you think is a big game that we haven't touched on so far?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with the Chargers-Redskins game this week. You got Justin Herbert, which a lot of people are throwing their hat behind. So I want to see how he plays. You got the NFC East defending champions, the Redskins from last year. They picked up Fitzpatrick. Let's see what he could do with this team.
It's tragic.
Let's see if that defense got any better. The New England-Miami game we talked about earlier. The Denver Broncos-New York Giants game. That's the start of a season for both teams that have a couple different questions. And to see who may be right, who may be wrong. You got 2 quarterbacks in Denver with Love and Bridgewater to see what they're doing. New York, Daniel Jones, not everybody's behind him. Saquon Barkley is supposed to be coming back. So you got to see some offensive questions on those teams. And then I agree with John. The Saints game, I'm really curious to see what Sean Payton saw in Jameis Winston without even bringing in another quarterback. Does he see something that we didn't? And is he going to help resurrect his career? I really want to see what's going to happen there. So I'm curious about that one too.
Well, good games, both good games. So let's run through. Let's spend a couple of minutes on each game going down the line. I'm going to save Jets, Giants, and Steeler games to the last three. So let's start off with Falcons at home versus the Eagles. The Falcons are favored by 3.5. To me, this is a who cares game. I think the Falcons are a bad team. They should have just blew that whole thing up. And some people are expecting big things from the Falcons. I am not. And the Eagles, listen, the offensive line maybe is decent, but that defense is terrible, and I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts. So I'm picking the Falcons in this game. But to me, this is a who cares game. I really have very little interest in this one, John.
I agree. I mean, I think it's a battle of two teams that are, I mean, like I said earlier, enigmas, and we don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not a Hurts fan either. What I think out of the Falcons, though, I'm curious to see how they use Kyle Pitts. I mean, you're looking at you lost Julio Jones, and that kind of took away a little bit, But now Ryan actually has, kind of like how he used Tony Gonzalez earlier. I mean, we're looking at Pitts, who's a definite mismatch. And in the NFL, I mean, nobody does it better than New England with their mismatches, and now you see it with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski again on Thursday. Mismatches, you exploit that, and I think Pitts is going to be a big mismatch. I'm curious to see how they're going to use him, and if it's going to be at least a little bit of a change for Atlanta.
All right, Jeff, what's your ever thought on the Eagles Falcons game? John, give me your pick on the game. You got a pick?
I'm going to take the Falcons, because they're at home, and I think they have a little more stability. Like you said earlier, the Eagles' defense, I think you're going to see that exploited today for sure.
Yep. Jeff, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that game?
Just whether you want to admit it or not, this is a big game for you. Because if Atlanta beats Philly and exposes Philly, then it's one less team you may have to worry about somewhere further down the line in the season. But I'm with you guys. I'm going to go with Atlanta with this one. I really don't care. I don't have a dog in this fight. So, to me, I couldn't care less about this game.
Yeah, to me, this was a who cares game to me. I don't expect much out of either one of these teams. All right, let's go down to the Vikings in Cincinnati versus the Bengals. The big thing for me is Joe Burrow. I mean, he got a devastating knee injury. He's got to be a little gun shy. Can they protect him? I think this is a big game. I think I like the Vikings in this game. I think the Bengals are a few years off if Joe Burrow returns to form. So I like the Vikings today. But the Vikings are another one of those who cares teams. They had their chance. They had a chance to make a run. And I think that the Kirk Cousins time in Minnesota is almost up. So I'm going to take the Vikings today -3. But I don't expect much out of either team today. Jeff, on this one, you got one on this one, Jeff?
I unfortunately agree. I mean, you don't want to see any young quarterback, especially a quarterback like Burrows, who could be an exciting quarterback in the NFL. You don't want to see him get hurt. But they drafted a wide receiver for him, some weapons instead of some protection.
I agree.
So this will be a big day, big game to see how that works out. But I'm going with you, Minnesota over the Bengals, without a doubt.
Yep. Johnny Boy, what's your thoughts?
I definitely think Minnesota wins it, but I think we're going to see a little more out of Cincinnati today. I don't know how well they're going to protect Burrow, and coming off that injury, but he does have a lot of weapons now. He's, he looked good in points last year. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do. I think they're going to keep it tight, really. I think Minnesota wins, but
yeah, I don't think I don't expect a blowout in this one, but I just don't see. I don't see Cincinnati having enough to stay in this game. I think since Minnesota has just a little too much. If this was played later in the year, I would probably maybe feel a little different about this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom.
Yeah, I think that this was like week 8 and week 9. I would feel a little bad. I think Joe Burrow is going to be very apprehensive today. And Jeff, I think you made a great point. They had the opportunity to draft one of the big offensive linemen in this draft. And they went with a receiver. Again, Jamar Chase is a great player, but I think they needed to do more to protect Joe Burrow, and they didn't take that opportunity. But
yeah, I mean, especially that he got injured. He ended the season getting injured.
Yeah,
You're going to want to protect him. That's what it is to it.
The next game up, guys, that I see, I got the 49ers on the road versus the Lions. Is it the same old Lions? Does anybody believe in Dan Campbell's a nut? Here's the thing. I think this is a big game for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's got to go out there and just pound these guys and keep and put to bed whether Trey Lance should be playing. I think that's the biggest thing for me today in that game is Jimmy Garoppolo's got to go out there and play really, really well. Otherwise, you're going to start to hear the whispers that everybody's looking for Trey Lance to play. So while I'm not a big fan of the game, are the Lions going to be any better? And how well does Jimmy Garoppolo play? I'm going to take the oh boy, I hate 7.5 on the road, but I'm going to take the 49ers. They're just too much better. I think they're too much better than the Lions. I'll take the 49ers on the road, give it 7.5. Johnny Boy.
I think you have to, man. You got to.
Yeah.
Smart pick.
I'm with you guys on that too.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't see.
Yeah, I mean, can anybody get? I mean, I know they got Goff now, but I don't think they upgraded the quarterback position. I don't know if they've downgraded it. I just don't think it's a big upgrade. Goff going in. What else have they done in Detroit beside that? I mean, I just don't. So
they're in the process of starting to rebuild, bro.
But they've been rebuilding for 10 years. We're
going into year 11 of the rebuild.
And then in the year 12.
Yeah, there you go.
I think so. So I think we're all in the same thing. Next game is this is an interesting game for me. Titans, Cardinals in Tennessee. The Titans, a lot of people picking the Titans this year, not because of their defense, and the defense was atrocious last year. It's gotten a little better this year. But people love their offense now. Of course, with Julio Jones, Derrick Henry. I get a little nervous with Derrick Henry with all the carries and all the yardage and all that stuff. But this is an interesting game for me. Cardinals. I'm down on the Cardinals this year. I think Cliff Kingsbury will be the first coach fired this year. I'm not a big fan of Murray. I expect things to unravel for them this year. They're a very tough division. I'm taking the Titans today, -3 over the Cardinals in Tennessee. I don't know how you guys feel, John. How do you look at this one, John?
I agree with you, Tommy. I think Tennessee, got better on the offseason. And I think, as far as how well is Julio Jones going to play, I mean, I think when you get, the two big receivers on the outside, there's a lot of room in the middle to open up. So, I mean, really, how are the Cardinals going to defend this? I think Derrick Henry has a big game like he always does. I think they will limit his carries, though, to start out the season. I can see that. I could see Jones, kind of more being a guy that they're going to use, a little less today to kind of break him in. I think Tennessee wins this one. I can't see, Arizona having the horses to do this.
Jeff, what's your thoughts? Tennessee.
I think Tennessee is going to win also. And John, everything you're saying, all they need is Julio Jones to be a presence. That's it.
Yeah.
And that alone is going to be causing enough distraction.
And there's another
anywhere they're going to be looking for him. They have to.
There's another thing, guys. They losing Jonnu Smith too.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to take that role over? I mean, that was a nice check down for Tannehill.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Tannehill may be the biggest resurrection I've ever seen in this league in a long time. Here's a guy who was all but buried in Miami and has really, I wouldn't call him a great quarterback, but not by any stretch. But the guy has taken his team into the playoffs. He's played well enough. A lot of people like them this year. If their defense was playing better, this would be one of the top teams in the AFC.
I think they are one of the top teams in the AFC only because Derrick Henry could carry them there. I really believe that. More Derrick Henry than it is Tannehill.
I agree. But yeah, I agree. But and again, I think that's a team that feeds off each other, Jeff. I think you hit it right. I think Julio Jones just has to come out there and show that he's still capable. And if that stretches the defense a little bit, it'll only make it better for not only Derrick Henry but Ryan Tannehill. So this is an interesting game. I like Tennessee today. Seahawks, Colts, guys in Indy. Carson Wentz, can he change it? Can he turn around his career with his old coach under Frank Reich? I don't know. Seahawks, kind of been treading water. A lot of offseason turmoil there with Russell Wilson wanting more control over who plays. Guy gets hit more than any other quarterback in the league. So to me, I'm not a fan of either team. I hate the Seahawks, to be honest with you. Pete Carroll's one of my least favorite people in the NFL. I have to be honest with you. If I was picking this game, and I'm going to, I'll take. Oh boy, I guess I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm not a big believer in the Colts right now. And John, what's your thoughts on Seahawks Colts?
I agree with you, Tommy. I think it's Seahawks in this game. I think one of the things is, obviously more experienced quarterback. Wentz, with that injury, and he started out like a house of fire in Philly, and then had the injuries, and we don't know what we're going to see today. And then anytime you bring in a new quarterback like that into that system, yes, he's played with Reich before, but what does he have? To start out like that, and the Seahawks, especially their receivers. I think Metcalf is a game changer.
Yeah.
Also, Chris Carson's a fantastic running back, underrated. It's I see Seattle winning this one. I can't.
I agree. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
This is a tough one. I see a lot of people down on Seattle this year.
Yeah.
Until proven, Wentz is, we don't know what position Wentz is going to be in, and if he's just coming back from surgery, if he's going to be able to play. I don't know. Is Quentin Nelson back with them also?
I think he's hurt today. Hold on a second. I did see this. I have the injury report here. Where is it? I saw his name in the injury report. Quentin Nelson is questionable today.
All right. So let's say that even if he plays, he's not going to play up to par. So to me, that game's kind of, I don't want to say a wash, but I have no interest in that one at all until these teams prove themselves to be a little bit better. If I had to pick one, I'm going to have to go with Seattle.
Yeah, it's an easy pick. I think at this point. The next one, John, I think you brought this one, but I think it's an interesting one. I think you did the Charger-Redskin game. It was you, Jeff. Yeah. Okay, Jeff, I think it's an interesting one. One, Herbert's play is going to be, second year. Is he got sophomore slump, or does he take off from where he was last year? Redskins, obviously, everybody's touting their defense, probably rightly so. 4 number 1 picks, I think, on their defensive line. Lots of questions on that team, and all of that. It's in DC. I would, if I'm picking, I think you're going to see the best of Fitztragic today. I think the guy usually early on plays very well. I think it's as the season goes on, that guy steps back. He's 38 years old. I don't think he finishes the season. I believe Taylor Heineke will be the quarterback of that team when this season ends. But today I take the Redskins at home. +1. And I think this is tough. I think West Coast teams coming across to the East Coast to play 1:00 games is tough. 2, I think the Redskin defense is going to give the kid trouble. So I'm gonna take the Redskins at home today, John.
I agree with you, Tommy. I think Washington's defense is what does this. I think Fitz will do just enough to to get him through. And one thing to look at too is the Chargers. Eckler's with his hamstring injury, we don't know how much he's going to be able to give, and he gets used a lot, especially in the passing game. So how much is Herbert going to be able to go to him, and how well they're going to be able to protect Herbert. To do what he likes to do. That's the one thing. That's a great defensive line in Washington. Great defense.
Yeah, and they're completely healthy. There's nobody on the injury report, Jeff. So I think this is a game that if Washington was to lose, would be a major issue today, Jeff.
It could be, but I'm going with the Redskins.
Yeah, I think I think that's a no-brainer today. Let's move on. We got. I would say this is probably the game of the two number 1 and 2 number 2 picks next year. Jacksonville at Texans. Is Deshaun Watson going to be on the sideline holding a clipboard? Is he in street clothes? Is he home? Is he getting a massage someplace?
Is he even on the sideline this year?
He's on the 53-man roster. I guess he's going to be a healthy scratch. It's definitely. I have to tell you, Deshaun Watson's situation is the most confusing I've ever seen in the NFL. He's not on the commissioner's exempt list. He's not suspended. He's on the roster, but's not playing. I mean, what is the guy's status? I got to tell you, But I'll say this: I have no confidence in the Jaguars. I think Urban Meyer is going to be one of the next great college coach to spend 2 years in the NFL and run back to college. We'll see how Trevor Lawrence plays. I think he will be a good quarterback, but not this year. So I'm taking the Texans today in Texas. I think there's enough in Texas in the Texans to win today, and I don't have a lot of faith in the Jaguars. John?
Well, this is really a tough game, Tommy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
You look at it.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to do well, and I think one of the things to point out is how well Robinson's going to do in the backfield. I mean, I think he's, they're going to be strong there. I think, and he also has a lot of weapons around him too. I mean, you have Marvin Jones there now, which I think is a fantastic receiver. He never gets the credit that he deserves. He's always strong. He's been strong consistently throughout his career, and Chanel is the new receiver too. I mean, the new rookie. I mean, he's connected well with Lawrence, so I think it's going to be a close game. I mean,
oh yeah,
I think if there was an even game this week, I think this one would be it.
Yeah, but you got to make a pick, John. You going with the Jags? That's what it sounds like.
I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'll stretch out and I'll take Jacksonville.
I don't think it's that far off. I have to tell you, I don't think it's. I think the Texans have a lot of problems. Tyrod Taylor's their quarterback. I don't believe that. I don't believe in the Texans. I'm not a big fan of Urban Meyer, and I think you have a new quarterback, rookie, a lot of pressure on him right now. I'm going to take Texans today, but it's going to be a close one. Jeff, you want to throw in on the Texans Jaguar game?
Yeah, this might be my last pick because my phone is dying and I can't find my charger. Somebody stole my charger. Now I'm going on a warpath, so somebody's going to pay. But real quick, I think you got to go Jacksonville because Houston is in such flux. This is a big game for Trevor Lawrence, without a doubt, because he will establish his season. Not his career, but his season, without a doubt. And you want to see the kid get off to a good start as the number one pick. But, how can he not have a good game against Houston? That's what else could you say there?
I'm not sure. Well, before we lose you, do me a favor, Jeff. Give me your thoughts on the Jet game. Give me your pick on the Jet game before we lose you.
Listen, Jets, wow. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 17-14. 21-17, something like that. I think the Jets will win. But, I just want to see this kid come out strong. That's all I want to see.
All right. It's fair enough. I tell you what, a lot of people picking the Jets surprising for a 2-win team that shows a very bad defense, questionable offensive line, a lot of receivers that are out right now. I struggle to think why people think the Jets are going to be a better team than they are. But it's interesting. I'm going to take the Panthers in this game. I just think Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson are going to be McCaffrey are going to be too much for the Jet defense. And I agree with Jeff. I think it'll be a close one, John.
I agree with you guys too, and it's so tough. I mean, with the Jets, I think the thing that wins this out is the Panthers have more weapons.
Yep.
I think that's really what does it, and I think. McCaffrey's always a game changer, and I think even if you try to stop him, there's enough weapons on the outside. But I think you're going to see a big improvement in the Jets this year. I really do. I mean, I think with
the weapons, but if Sam Darnold doesn't know what to do with those weapons, he can have Jerry Rice and anybody else that you can name.
That's
it.
Know
what to do with them.
But again, if he goes out there, Jeff, and throws for 300 and resurrects his career this year, the Jets are going to look real bad this year. I think Sam Darnold's is going to be a good quarterback this year. I don't think he's going to be great.
Except Sam Darnold's not going to hit 300 yards till his fourth game.
All
right, he's not going to resurrect his career. Don't worry about that. The Jets ain't going to look bad. Don't worry about that. Sam Darnold is not going to be a good quarterback. Don't worry about that. You heard it here first. Okay, I'm telling you.
We heard it. I got you.
I'm telling you.
Well, okay. Again, the Sunday Audible. That's Jeff Towinski. That's John Mahevka. I'm Tom Florio. And we're here every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock giving you our unique analysis of each and every Sunday morning game. So make sure you come back.
My phone is about to die.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I got to go try to find my charger.
All right, go ahead, pal. I'll talk to you off the air.
Later.
See you, Jeff.
Later, John.
See you, Jeff.
Good.
Take care, bud. You
All
too.
right, so John, you and I will finish it up. We'll run through the rest of the games. Well, I got my fantasy lineup. I don't know if you put one together for yourself, but we'll run through the fantasies and best bets. And let's move on, John, to Chiefs and Browns. We touched on it earlier. I think this is a big game for both teams. Again, I think this could easily be the AFC conference final. Two teams that are trying to reestablish themselves a little bit. I think the Chiefs, coming off the loss in the Super Bowl, want to beat the Hex. You know, all those teams going back to the Falcons. The teams that lose the Super Bowl usually don't do well the next year, so they want to beat that Hex. And of course, the Browns. Everybody thinks that they're this year's fantasy pick. You know, they're the team that's going to go to the Super Bowl. They're ready to make that leap. Lots of number one picks on that team. I like this game. It's in Kansas City, so I have to go with the Chiefs. They're tough at home. I think Andy Reid will throw a little something at Baker Mayfield today. I expect a close game, but I expect a lot of points in this game. I expect both teams to put up in the 30s, but I'm going to take the Chiefs minus the 6.
I agree with you on that, Tommy. This is a really close game, and it's going to be a great game too. I mean, I can't see these guys not being a part of the AFC playoff picture at all. I mean, and I think really what you pointed out by taking the Chiefs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's just such a game changer. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of pressure you put on him. He makes plays out of the pocket. He makes plays in the pocket. Tons of weapons. Mm-hmm. And I think really what Tampa Bay did to them last year. And usually what Kansas City uses to offset these, the teams that they play is speed. Speed is always the game changer. And I think you're going to see that today. And I think you're going to see, which team is going to be the healthiest as far as conditioning wise.
I think that's a big thing. And again, same thing. Like I said earlier, it's going to be different each game, I'm sure. But I think the lack of play in the preseason is going to affect some teams. We'll see if this is one of those games. I like the Chiefs. I just think they're a little. If this game was in Cleveland, I probably would feel a little different. But I like the Chiefs because they're in Kansas City. They're tough to beat at home, and I think this is a big game for them. I'm shocked that this isn't like the Sunday night game. Like this should be right. Like, if you look, I mean, Rams Bears on Sunday night, Ravens Raiders on Monday night. This is a marquee matchup. I mean. If you really think about it, nationally, this is a big game.
Right. I'm really surprised at that too, Tommy.
Yeah.
That should be Monday night.
Yeah, this should be the feature game. This, Patrick Mahomes against Baker Mayfield, Cleveland and Kansas City. This is a huge game, and I'm shocked that it's not the national game of the week. So, interesting game. Next one's a big game. Patriots Dolphins. For a lot of reasons, two Alabama quarterbacks facing each other, former Alabama quarterbacks. Again, I think this is a huge game for the Patriots, John, because, coming off a 7-9 season, the Tom Brady leaves and wins the Super Bowl someplace else. Belichick's wants to reestablish himself as the genius. I think this is a huge football game. I've been a Mac Jones fan. I've said it all along. I thought he was the best of the bunch, and just nobody gave him much of a chance. But I think the guys played well in the preseason. He played a lot in the preseason, which was, I think, good. I love the Patriots today in Foxborough, and I think Dolphins have a lot of question marks. Even though they made a big jump last year, John, this team, especially at the quarterback position, has a lot of questions.
I agree, Tommy. I'm going to go with New England as well. I think it's what it really comes down to is, not only, Mac Jones. I think Belichick is going to have him play to his strengths.
Yep.
But the way that defense is and the way he coaches, how I feel about Belichick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring that up, but he's a fantastic coach. I mean, you can't deny that. The guy, he gets things done, and I think he's going to do it with this team too. I think you're going to see a really big improvement in them.
I agree.
you know, I saw, glimmers of, of him being an excellent player. But, this year, I mean, he's going to need to take that step. I mean, I'm going to see a lot of Mike Gesicki and that backfield too is another thing. I mean, what are they going to do there? I mean, how are they going to use those guys? I mean, it's tough. I'll take New England on this one as well, Tom.
Yeah, I think this again. It's a big game in the division. I think we both agree that the Bills are the team to beat in that division. To me, I think Allen has been. I could put him in my top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now. I think that team has gotten better each year. I think defensively they're ready. I think the Bills are the team to beat in the division and then maybe in the conference. The Dolphins took a big step last year. I think it happened in a year where the Patriots were on a downtime. I'm curious to see how this year Patriots should be a much better team. Does that hurt the Dolphins enough to keep them from improving, making the playoffs? I think this is a huge football game for opening day. I'm excited. I don't know if I get a chance to see that anywhere, but that's a good football game to watch if anybody gets to see it.
That'll definitely be a good game.
Yeah.
One thing I saw last year too, Tommy, is the fight that Miami had.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw a lot of games where they could have just given up and they didn't, and I think especially defensively. So I think you're going to see a strong game today. I mean, it's going to be I think it's going to be where a turnover changes it, like it always does. I mean, that's just usually the way it is, and we'll see how that turns there.
Yeah, I agree, and I think. Had the Dolphins kept Fitztragic, whatever, and didn't go to Tua, I think they probably would have made the playoffs last year. But we'll see how that turns out this year. Packers Saints, John, you like this game? I think this is interesting. Can quarterback guru Sean Payton turn Jameis Winston into a winner? I think Jameis Winston's been overrated since he got in the league when he was in college. I was never a fan. I think the guy's a turnover machine.
Right.
Here's a guy who had the same exact team as Tom Brady and went 7-9. Tom Brady comes in, same exact team with Goodwin and Evans and Howard and all that whole thing, and he turns them into Super Bowl champs. So I don't think Sean Payton's is going to turn this into a reclamation. I think Jameis Winston is exactly who he is. And he will make it. No Michael Thomas for 5 games. I don't like the Saints in this one. I'm not crazy about the Packers. I think there's a lot of internal shit there that with Aaron Rodgers, and he's very unlikable, John. That guy is one of the most unlikable guys that I've ever gotten the chance to watch play. I'm a closet Packer fan going back to when I was a kid, so I'll always take it. I like the Packers today on the road in Jacksonville. It's going to be interesting to see how the post-Breeze era turns in New Orleans.
Yeah, I could see Green Bay definitely winning this one. I mean, it's just too many. It's too solid of a tape. I mean, those guys were, they were one step, away from it last year. The turmoil I think definitely makes a big difference, Tommy. But Aaron Rodgers just has so many weapons there. Again, I mean, Devontae Adams, Jones, AJ Dillon's another one. I mean, you bring him in the mix. You have a third down guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see somebody that he could throw to. The check down. Great tight end there as well. I can't see New Orleans with Jameis Winston going in there. I see. He starts out shaky. I see a lot of pressure put on him. I see multiple turnovers. I can't see New Orleans taking Green Bay today.
Yeah, I mean, in New Orleans, in the Dome, they're a much better team in the Dome than they are outside. They're going to be outside on basically a road game, no matter how you look at it. You're in Jacksonville playing. So, interesting game. I'm curious to see how do they do it there with the fans? Are they just giving away tickets to that game? I'm curious.
Right.
I mean, do they sell tickets to that game? Do you give them away? Does anybody show up? Jacksonville's playing today, obviously, in Houston. I wonder how that works out, but that's an interesting one. If it's on TV, I'm curious to see who they fill the stands with.
I agree. I mean, I know if another team would come into, Pittsburgh and they weren't, playing in Heinz Field and say the Steelers, weren't playing, that'd be something interesting to see because,
Yeah.
You have Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, that's an appeal, to the fans to come in and
Well,
we'll see.
If you're Jacksonville, if you're a fan of Jacksonville, you haven't seen a lot of winning games. I mean,
Exactly.
good football games. You might actually get to see a good football game.
Exactly.
That's actually a nice place to see a game, I can tell you. Anyway, let's move on to the Sunday night game, Rams and Bears in California. Everybody loves the Rams because they got Matthew Stafford. I am not the Matthew Stafford fan. I just say, let me know when he wins his first big game. The guy never seems – he had the best receiver of our generation, Calvin Johnson, and couldn't do anything with it. I get it. The defense has not been good. I get it. Have had a lot of weapons. We'll see. I mean, the Rams haven't been good lately. So, the Bears, Andy Dalton, the defense, 2 years ago was great. It hasn't been great since. This is a tough game for me. A lot of points, but I'm going to take the Rams in this one because they're home. And I got a feeling that they'll light it up on this game. I really do think that they'll light up the Bears defense. I don't expect much out of the Bear offense. So I like the Rams. I like the Rams tonight, John.
I agree. I think with Jalen Ramsey on Allen Robinson, most of the day. Montgomery in the backfield, but you also have one of the best defensive lines in the league. I can't see them running the ball very well. I think on Chicago's end, Darnell Mooney will be a factor at least for them. Especially since he's going to be the guy they're going to have to go to, Cole Kmet at tight end. I see the Rams as just having too much. I think the offense is fairly balanced. I think Stafford's going to do well there. They're opening a new stadium.
Losing Akers is a tough one. That's the one negative I see, but right. I still think you're right. They have too many weapons.
That's it. And opening a new stadium too. I think that it's going to be the house is going to be on fire. Let's put it that way. And I think Stafford's going to do well. And I think that defense, it's just too much for Chicago.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that one. Again, a big game for the Rams to show who they are. The NFC is tough, John. The AFC, I could give you 4 or 5 teams that I think are competitive, and could be there at the end. The NFC is much different. I mean, Tampa should be there. Just by default, their division's terrible. The Packers should be there. After that, can you name me 3 other teams that right now you think are Super Bowl contending teams? I couldn't give you 3.
That's tough, Tommy. I mean, I actually thought Dallas played very well against New England or against Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I was really surprised at how well Dak Prescott played. Coming back from that injury. I'm with you on that. I think it's I think you're going to look at a team that's going to be, I'm not going to say sub 500, but there's going to be some teams in there that are going to be, shaky.
Yeah.
They're going to be playoff contenders, and it's.
Yeah, I just don't think, you can, okay, I'll give you the Rams maybe. Okay, you want to say that they're improved with Matthew Stafford. But after that, I mean, the Cowboys, okay, they played decent and they lost and exposed a lot of their weaknesses. They didn't run the ball well. The offensive line is not the same as it was a couple years ago. Their defense is not great, and I still think their coaching is suspect. So, is anybody in the NFC East any good? I don't know. We'll find out today with the Giants. We'll find out today a little bit with Washington. But if you go around the NFC, there are not a lot of teams that I would say, it could develop. But today, I don't think there's 3 more teams that I can point to and say they have a chance to go to Super Bowl. I think right now it's the Packers and the Buccaneers are the 2 teams that I think the AFC is much different. I think you can go Browns, Chiefs, you can go Bills, obviously, right off the top of my head. I'll throw I'll throw the Steelers in the mix. I'll throw the Patriots in the mix. There are teams that I think can play well this year on that side. In the NFC, I don't have that same thought. So it's going to be an interesting time. But let's go Ravens tonight. Monday night, Ravens and the Raiders. Opening up Las Vegas with fans in the stands. I'm a little excited to see how that looks with the silver and black in Vegas with fans. Here's my big question. Has the league finally figured out Lamar Jackson? We know that in the playoffs, teams have the way of shutting him down, force him to throw the ball from the pocket. I think the guy's overrated. I think he's a tremendous athlete, but I think he's an overrated quarterback. I am not a fan of the Ravens team. I think they're in a very tough division this year. I think I'm figuring them to be third in that division. This is an interesting game to pick. I'm going to take the Raiders with the fans at home on a Monday night. I'm going to think the Raiders are going to find a way to win this game, but I'm not super confident in my pick.
This is another tough one, Tommy.
Yeah.
And really, Lamar Jackson, especially this season with the running back injuries, I mean, Dobbins and Edwards both out. And
yeah,
this guy's going to have to definitely win the games for them. I mean, he's going to have to make plays every single game. The defense has to step up, and the injury to Peters on the corner. Wow. I don't even know what to pick. I think really I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'm going to take them, by a small amount. I think Chucky's going to have the Raiders ready.
Yeah.
But the Raiders, to me, I don't understand where that team is at. It's almost like, you really don't even know what to say they are. Are they?
No, you're right.
Are they a decent offense, decent defense? I mean, they're kind of like
they're in the middle of everything.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the problem for the Raiders, they have two guys who think they know more about football than anybody else in Gruden and Mayock. And they do things that and that just shake your head. I mean, even the guy that drafted this year, Leatherwood, I mean, is a reach of all reaches as an offensive line. There's no rhyme and reason. You don't know what kind of team the Raiders are. Are they a ground and pound? Are they lighting it up in the air? What kind of? To me, they fall in that mix of they're just a mediocre team, and there's a team that could easily be 7-9. 8-9 this year for me, but I'm taking them today because I just don't have any faith in the Ravens going on the road, and I think like you said, I think this is a tough game to pick.
It is. It's one of the toughest, and you're right about the Raiders. I like I said, I don't know what to say with those guys. I mean, Carr, if he had the team around him, I think could be an excellent quarterback.
Yeah,
he just every year in and out.
Yeah, I don't know where Derek Carr's a lot like Stafford and some of those other guys. He's got the ability. You just don't know. He's a guy who needs talent around him to do well. He's not a quarterback who's going to make people better. He needs other guys who are better players to make him better. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but he's not one of those guys you can give him, 3 or 4 average receivers and he's going to make them play better. Just not that kind of quarterback. Right. And I think the Raiders, again, they're going to be a mediocre team in a pretty good division this year. I think that might be one of the better divisions in football with the Chiefs and the Chargers. I think the Broncos may be a better team than most people give them credit for. So I think it's a tough division, and I think the Raiders will finish dead last in it.
I agree. I think one of the things that they have done is Darren Waller. I think he's he's definitely a difference maker. But who takes the coverage off of him? I mean, can they run the ball with Josh Jacobs? Like I said, you just throw your hands in the air and say, well, what are we going to have here today?
Exactly. I just that's it. That's exactly it. So I'm not a huge fan of Raiders, but I'll pick them tonight. I'll pick them tomorrow night for the sake of picking. I'm curious also. Are the Oakland fans going to travel to Vegas for these games? I'm curious what's in the stands. Is it mostly like tourists and gamblers? Do the Raiders, do people travel? I know that's got to be a 4 or 5 hour trip from Oakland to Vegas. Do people travel to those games now? What kind of fan, going into Oakland and playing a football game was treacherous. Do they have the same mentality in Vegas? I'm curious to see who travels there, and is it more corporate than fans?
I agree with you. I think people will travel just for the stadium.
Yeah.
But, I miss the old Raiders, Tommy. Honestly, I
Yeah.
mean, Steelers Raiders rivalries.
Oh
Back in the
yeah.
'70s, and those guys. You missed it, and I missed the Browns too. I mean, and now that they're back, it's great to have that rivalry.
Oh
Again.
yeah.
I hope the Raiders get it back. I really do. I just, I don't see that happening for a while yet.
You know what I miss, John? I miss when teams had identities.
Right.
With teams, you knew what it, like the Giants were run the football, play great defense, winter weather team. Teams had identities to them, and it seems like most teams don't have identities anymore. Most teams don't have. The Raiders just we're dirty. We're gonna play tough, and we're gonna kick the shit out of you whether we win or lose. Teams had identities, and I think that's a lot of what's missing in the NFL today. Is that maybe it's free agency. Team turnover on teams every year is insane, and also the coaches change. It seems guy gets 2-3 years and then he's out, and comes in with a whole new philosophy. So I think the days of 20-something years of Chuck Noll and Tom Shula and and Tom Landry and all, I think those days where teams built identities around their coach, with guys that were there 10 and 15 years is long gone. And I think that's missing from the NFL today.
I totally agree. It's definitely part of free agency as well, and the rule changes too. I mean, you can't build that defensive identity anymore where you had like the the steel curtain and purple people eaters and the Raiders defense, and I miss it. I definitely do. I think the NFL opened it up as an offensive game too. I mean, they want to make it more exciting for fans.
Yeah.
So they took away a lot of the things, and people don't want to see that 7-6 battle. Yeah. They want to see the big game. So
yeah, I like a good football game. I like a little defense mixed in. I am not a fan of the 52-45 games. To me that is boring. I like a little strategy, where you're setting guys up, and so I'm you hope it gets back to that. But you're right, they're not. It's not you and me that they're trying to bring in. They're bringing in the young kids who want to do fantasy and DraftKings and all of that kind of stuff. And fantasy football relies on points. That's just how it goes.
Right.
Fantasy football doesn't want to see a 17-3 game. They want to see a 35-20, 35-31 game, with guys running up and down the field. So,
right.
It's a different game. I'm all for making the game better, but just tying the hands of the defense is just not my thing. Better football comes in the playoffs. You see a lot more defensive games, and to me, that's what I love to see. So
I agree.
But let's get through the regular season first. We'll be here every Sunday to do that. John, myself, and our good partner Jeff. Every Sunday morning on a Sunday Audible, we'll break down the biggest matchups, throw you some fantasy picks, and give you our best bets. Let's do a little fantasy. I'm going to run through my lineup real quick. John, I don't know if you have one. Do you have a lineup ready today?
I always have one ready, Tommy.
Here we go.
Just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, here we go. So let's see if I can show mine. I don't know if it'll pop up. Now let's try to do it this way. All right, so I got Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. I just think on the road, I think it's going to be a big game. He's going to want to shut people up. I love Phillip Lindsay, the Texans running back. I think he's going to have a huge game today. Same thing for Raheem Mostert, San Francisco running back playing against Detroit. I love Raheem today.
I think he's a great player. I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. I think the thing is, if the guy can stay healthy,
yes,
and I think you have a top tier running back right there. I mean, he's shown it. He just can't stay healthy, and that's the thing. I think that's a great pick, Tommy.
Yeah, I love it. I got Robbie Anderson today. Robbie Anderson is going to have a huge game today against an inexperienced Jet defense, and just the fact that it's the Jets with Sam Darnold. I think he's going to light it up today. So I love Robbie Anderson today.
I agree. I mean, he's a great pick week in and week out.
Yeah,
especially what he did last year. He's shown it. The guy has the speed. He's separation too. I mean, it seems like he's open on every play, and he did that with the Jets too. I noticed. I mean, I watched him, throughout his career, and great pick.
Yeah,
Inexperienced secondary too.
that's it. To me, I like DeAndre Hopkins playing against a weak Titans defense. I'm not a huge Kyler Murray fan, and again, I said it before. I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the first guy fired this year, but I love DeAndre Hopkins today against a very weak Titans secondary. My tight end, I love Tyler Higbee from the Rams. Stafford loves a big target in the red zone, and I think he's a guy who's going to get a lot of touches down that way. So I'm taking Tyler Higbee as my tight end. Here's one I think you're going to like, John. I take my flex. I got Christian McCaffrey against the Jets. I expect a huge game from Christian McCaffrey today. I think he's going to want to coming back from the injuries. I think he's going to want to have a big day today, and against that Jet defense, I think he will.
I totally agree. And the guy, I mean, the amount of touches that the guy gets, it's not only, just as a ball carrier, but the receiving. I mean, he's even a bigger threat.
Oh,
it's possible to stop.
Absolutely. I love the kid. I think he's a great player. I'm taking Graham Gano as my kicker just because he plays for the Giants and he's got a good leg, had a good season last year. And taking the 49er defense, playing Detroit. I'm not expecting much out of Goff, so I'm taking the 49er defense today. I think that's an easy one for me.
I agree with you. That's a great lineup. I know one of the guys that that I'm high on, and I know a lot of the the experts are is Robinson with the Jaguars. I think you're going to see a lot of. He's going to be used a lot. There's a lot of carries. I think he'll have a good game today. I think he's one of them. And the one guy that I'm really curious to see, and I haven't heard a ton about him in fantasy as far as this week, is Pitts for Atlanta.
Have not heard a lot. Yes, I have not heard his name. I don't know how much he played in the preseason. I got to be honest with you. I was not high on him. And again, here's the thing. I think he's a tremendous athlete, but anytime a guy doesn't have a real position, he's not necessarily a tight end, he's not a wide receiver, I'm always very leery of that guy.
Yeah, I think for me, when you have somebody like that, that's a mismatch, especially going into week one, you don't know what they're going to do with him.
Yeah.
So I say he's going to be one of those guys that's, I'm not going to say so much a sleeper, but maybe a little bit of a sleeper.
Okay.
I think he's going to do well today. Another guy that, obviously, the hometown with me is Najee Harris. I think he's going to be used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think Pittsburgh's going to use, a lot of different formations. I think they're going to use him, set out wide sometimes. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of different things out of these guys, to confuse Buffalo. I don't think they're going to come out and necessarily say, hey, we're going to try running the ball all the time. And they seem to do that a lot. They come out, they're very predictable in the beginning. I'd like to see them come out and do something a little bit different. Use the weapons that they have. And Ben's obviously going to be getting rid of the ball early, just like he did last year because of the new line. So, I think Harris is going to have a big day today.
I think it's a good pick. Yep. I think he's going to get – I like Najee Harris better than the kid out of Clemson. His name's escaping me at this moment. But
N-Team.
Yes, and I think he's out for the year. I think he got hurt. So another weapon for the Jaguars that's out. But I'm looking forward to that game. Get any more fantasy picks, John, you want to throw out?
Another pick I mentioned him earlier was Shenault for the Jaguars as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got a rookie quarterback. You bring in a rookie receiver. Those guys had some, they gelled a little bit in the preseason. I think he's going to be one of those guys where, if you have an opening somewhere and you need to spend a little bit low, I think he's a good, low end guy that's going to produce today. Especially in that game too. I mean, you're going to see a lot of. I'm not going to say you're going to see a lot of points, but you're going to see a lot of mistakes. Let's put it that way, because you got a lot of young guys in that game. So
sure.
So we'll see. I think obviously I think Mahomes is going to do well, and that's pretty much a shoe. And I think I think Cleveland is going to do very well. I mean, they got a great defensive line. Myles Garrett's is a monster outside. So as far as containing him.
Mm-hmm.
At least on that end, but still going to make plays. Too many weapons there. I think that's another one I would take. Mahomes, he's one of those guys every week you take.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's going to put up points every week. He's just one of those players. Again, I just wonder, did they do enough to fix the offensive line? And it's just, it's that hangover from losing the Super Bowl that I'm always questioning. Like I said, I'll harp on it all the time. It's very tough to lose the Super Bowl and come back the next year. Nobody does it anymore. So
Right.
We'll see how that plays out. We didn't break down. We're going to do. Let's get our picks for the Giant game. I think it's a huge game for the Giants. I think they play Sunday and then they play Thursday. I think the workload for Saquon Barkley will be light today. I think he'll play, but it's going to be light because I think the question for me, if I'm only going to play him in one of these first two games, I'd rather have him for Thursday night.
Right.
But I think the Giants will play him a little today, see how he rebounds for Thursday, and I expect him to get back there full speed again. How healthy the Giants are. I mean, Kadarius Toney, their number one pick, did not play at all in the preseason. Oh my God, he's back. I got to put him up because we're talking Giants. So he popped up.
Perfect timing.
Did you know that we're making a Giant game?
I've been checking in. Don't worry about what I do. All right. Just feel worried for the next motherfucker I find out that stole my charger. That person is a lot of trouble.
All right. Well, let's get to the Giant game.
Real quick because I got 10% left on my battery.
God.
This is the take I look forward to. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. 12 carries, 4 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 receptions, 4 yards. The guy hurts his fucking leg in the third quarter. Done for the year. I've said all I had to say. Daniel Jones, 11 for 37 for 94 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only they go to the other team. That's it. Guy's career's over. Gettleman fired by halftime. Judge barely able to finish out the game. Giants have a complete new look by week 2. You've heard it here first. Czarism at its best. Later.
He had to pop in just for that. All right, I got a lot of questions on the Giants this year. I think the defense is going to be really good. It's the offense. It's the offensive line and Jones. I expect good things. I like the Giants today at home. This is a game they have to win. I know there's no such thing as a must win in week 1. I just think for the psyche of this team and the fan base, they need to win this game. I'm not impressed with the Broncos. I know Chubb's hurt a little bit. Von Miller's Von Miller. That's going to be the question. Can the Giant offensive line stop those two guys? And the Giants win. If they don't, then the Giants will lose this game. I think the Giants will find a way to do it. I like the Giants. I like the Giants today.
I'm with you on that, Tommy. I think it's tough. I think Denver has a great defense. Obviously, I think Jones, really needs to take that next step, and I think he needs to do it early. He needs to do it fast.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be a little different here. I'm going to say they're going to use Barkley a little more.
You think so?
I think they're going to surprise everybody and use him a little more. I think the guy is. He's obviously their stud back. He's a monster. When he was healthy, the first year,
Mm-hmm.
In the passing game, he was able to run the ball. I think you're going to see the Giants use, kind of like that check down a little more to offset what the Broncos like to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to put pressure on the outside with Chubb, Von Miller, and I think that's an area where the Giants could take advantage of it.
I agree. I think it's going to be a good football game. That's the 4:30 game, 4:25 game today. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking at my New York schedule. I'll see the Jet games and the Eagles Falcons game are 1:00 games out here, and I get the Philly channels. So I'll probably get the Philly game. I'm hoping to get the Pittsburgh game instead, but I'm sure I'm going to get the Eagle game in through that way. So a lot of football to watch. My best bets for the day, John, Packers. I love the Packers today, -4 at the alt site. I love the Falcons today, and I really love the Patriots today. Those are my 3 big picks today. If you're asking me if I was going to bet the farm today, those are the 3 games I would bet. What's your 3 best bets of the day?
I agree with you with the Packers. I think that's a great pick. With the Saints and Jameis Winston, I think you're going to see You're going to see. I'm going to say Green Bay is going to get one defensive touchdown.
I would agree. It's a norm for him. Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
I could definitely see that happening. Well, there's a lot of tough games, and there's a lot of. I'm going to take the Rams over the Bears. I think that's going to be opening a new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Stafford. Great defense. Against Andy Dalton. I just can't see Chicago going in there and winning that game. I think it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of mistakes on the Rams' part, and the Bears, converting those mistakes to really make that happen. Man, the last pick.
Yeah, come on, man. Give me a third. Give me a best bet, John. If you're gonna send the farm in on 3 picks.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Let me look at my picks here, and I'm gonna give you one. I gotta pull a difficult game out of the hat. I'm definitely gonna take the Chiefs. I think they're gonna
Wow.
they win at home against
Really? Okay.
the Browns. I think that's gonna be a great game, though. I mean,
Absolutely.
other than the Steeler game, that I think that's one of the games of the day right there. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, especially the way that playoff game, with last year. I mean, that's with those two last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat each other up. I mean, it was a dogfight. I'm hoping to see that one again.
Yeah, and again, another game I get at 4:30 is I get 4 games on the regular schedule today, so I can do a little flipping. So, oh god, here he is again. Hold on.
Let's see which one he's got.
What do you got now? We're about to close up the show.
I found my charger.
You did. We're about to close up the show anyway.
So everything's okay.
All right. Well, we're about to close the show anyway.
I made it to 9%.
Did you? You have 3. You have 3 best bet picks for the day. I have the Packers, Falcons, and the Patriots as best bets. John went with the Rams, the Chiefs, and what was your third one? What was your third one, John?
Packers.
Okay.
Yep.
You have 3 best bets.
I got to be honest with you. You kind of got me on the spot, but let me pull up ESPN real quick and see where
you should have the cheat sheet I gave you. It's all lined out for you.
What's that?
You should have the cheat sheet out. I gave you a cheat sheet.
You're right, but I didn't know I was going to call back. I happened to see somebody and ask them about my charger. They knew more about my charger than they're letting on. Okay, but I have my charger back. But I'm going to give you my best 3 right now. Okay, I'm going Tampa Bay.
Perfect pick.
Perfect pick. Good pick. Yeah, good pick.
I don't know. I'll tell you the truth. I think I got to go San Francisco.
Good one. Okay, that's a good one.
I think I'm going to go Washington.
Okay, it's a good
tough
one.
Defense, tough front 4.
Great.
Man, I don't know. I have a flip. I got to go with the Jets, man. I have to go with the Jets. New year, new beginning, new quarterback, new coach, new everything. I got to go full in this year. I'm standing behind Robert Saleh, St. Zach, and the Jets, man.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I think Saleh's a great coach, Jeff. I agree with you. I think that was a good pick for those guys. I think he's going to bring a different mindset.
I think he's Rex Ryan. I think he's Rex Ryan with a waistline. That's what I tell you. He's Rex Ryan with a waistline.
Oh, you got to be like Joe Judge.
That's right.
Well, I'm the coach of the Giants. I'm Joe Judge.
Don't be jealous. We have a coach. We have a real coach.
I'm not. Believe me, I'm not. They showed me what they could do last year, man. This was a fearsome team.
That's right. This is going to be a good year this year, but I'm looking forward to today, and of course, I'm looking forward to getting back here next Sunday morning, where the 3 of us get together and we break down all the biggest games, the big stories, and we'll do a little review of the past week's games, and we'll have the ability to play some highlights from the games or lowlights in the case of the Jets when Robbie Anderson takes 190 yards today.
Oh, stop! Please stop! Please stop! Please stop!
I can't wait to watch that game and do play-by-play for Jeff as the Jets get smoked. But that's okay. Let's God.
I hope before you end the show, I hope that you feel better.
I do now, but thank you.
And that you are able to enjoy the rest of the day and watch the games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John, I wish you the best of luck with the Steelers. I hope that you get a division. I'll win it this year. Tom, I don't want to see the Giants go 0-17.
You don't.
No, I do not. I do not. I want to see them win just enough games that their pick means nothing. Nothing. So 7 games, 8 games, just so that they're picking in the middle of the field and then nobody else wants to trade with them. That's what I want to see. And when they go best player available, I hope it's a fucking punter.
That's it.
Well, we're going to end the show on that great note. I want to thank my two partners here, John Marhefka. Thanks, John. I appreciate that you getting involved with the show, and Jeff, of course, doing what you can with a little bit of knowledge you have. We thank
God, here we go. Here we go.
But I think it's been great football. I hope everybody enjoys their football Sunday. Make sure you come on back each Sunday morning when John and Jeff and I get together. We'll break down the biggest games. We'll talk about our favorite plays, and of course, we'll give you our picks for the day. So, for John, Jeff, and myself, I say enjoy your football Sunday, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you back here next Sunday on the Sunday Audible. Thanks, guys.
Later, man.
Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.